Tonight, I'd like to try something new with you. If you'll be patient with me, I'm going to do a series of episodes on the Beyond Body because I think it's time. I've done a few already. The Time Machine episode I consider to be the Beyond Body as well. But I wanted to do something where I wanted you to begin to kind of feel what I feel, I guess, in a sense, because it is such an amazing feeling when I do the Beyond Body. I mean, I have loved astral projection from the time that I started when I was a child, but the Beyond Body is absolutely amazing for me. And I want to try to share it with you, really truly share it with you in some way. You know, I was thinking about it this morning at work and I was thinking, wow, I wish that I could somehow capture on video what it's like to travel in the Beyond Body and to do this. And then I thought, maybe there might be some people out there, I don't know how many people, that would truly be willing to just, if they're in a safe place, they're not driving, they're not doing anything, they're not on the street, if you're at home, if you're just listening to the sound of my voice, I want you to just listen. And I want you to shut your eyes, and I want you to picture what I'm going to be telling you. Now, mostly I'm going to be telling you stories that have happened to me in the Beyond Body. But what I would like to do here initially with you is I want to go through step by step the feelings that I have when the Beyond Body thing comes up. I guess you could say when the vibrations come up, whatever, when this whole thing begins. I really want you to feel it with me. It's almost like I want you to travel with me. I want you to know how wonderful the feeling is when this does actually happen. So, if you will, and if you wish to do this, shut your eyes for just a moment. And I want to tell you, and I'm going to describe to you this whole Beyond Body business and how it starts. Now, from the very beginning, when it first begins, it's like it just comes over me. So I lay down, and of course I shut my eyes like your eyes are now. Your eyes are shut, and I'm seeing darkness. When I move through the Beyond Body, in the beginning, it is a feeling of motion. Now, I'm still in darkness. And really what you're seeing now, if you have your eyes closed, if your eyes are closed, you're seeing what I'm seeing when I'm in the Beyond Body. But what I'm feeling is completely different. I feel a sense of motion. And this sense of motion, or being propelled forward, I like to say that because that's what it feels like. It feels like some invisible force, some invisible energy is propelling me forward. I wouldn't say it's pushing, I'm being propelled. Now, normally, physics-wise, you know, if we think about the world and we think about physics, we should have some sort of resistance if we're moving forward. Friction would come into play somehow, some way. But what I'm telling you is there is no sense of resistance and there is no friction. It's completely smooth. And as we begin to move, and you're coming with me, and that's why I'm saying as we begin to move, that feeling of motion just continues to accelerate faster and faster and faster. Now, one thing I haven't emphasized, and one thing I haven't really talked about is it's not always just a straight line, by the way. Sometimes I can feel my legs moving up as if something is tilting my legs upwards, right? And now you have to understand, my legs aren't actually lifting up, and I'm not lifting my legs up. It just feels like my legs are tilting upwards. If you think of a plane and you think of the axis of a plane and the way a plane is like it's on a swivel almost. It can go yaw to the right, yaw to the left, yaw meaning turn this way, turn that way. It can bank to the left, bank to the right, and it can go up and down. And literally, when my legs are up, it does feel as if I'm climbing straight up into the sky. That's what it feels like. Or if my legs are pointing down, and that has happened, it feels like I'm going straight down and I'm going downwards. Now, keep in mind, and I cannot emphasize this enough, I have not, at this point, left my body. I'm still in my body. I haven't climbed out. I know what it's like to leave my body. I know what it's like to roll out of my body or to float upwards out of my body. And at this point, that has not happened. I'm still in my body, and yet I'm feeling this sense of motion. Now, as fast as I've accelerated, or as we're accelerating at this point, even after we feel as if we can't go any faster, it happens. We're moving even faster. And at some point, we begin to slow down. There is still darkness at this point, right? Still darkness. But then, slowly, the surroundings begin to take shape. Slowly, as if a veil was being lifted, things begin to come into form. And in this case, I saw this huge screen. Biggest screen I've ever seen, ever. If you ever gone to the movies, you've seen these big screens, but this was bigger than all of them. And by the way, it wasn't really a screen. In fact, I could see right through it, and there was a lake, right? This was like a place through this screen. And on top of this lake, I saw a series of things that I find to this day still to be confusing. I saw dinosaurs, I saw football players, I saw a series of things as if perhaps we were going from the beginning of time until right now, up to this moment perhaps. I'm not sure. That series of things that I saw was very confusing, but I remember asking, can I go anywhere? And this voice said, yes. And it said it exactly like that. And I remember when I first told my mom about it, it was so funny because I said, it was a really creepy voice, Mom. It freaked me out a little bit, but that was fine. That was okay. I heard that yes. And at some point, I went through the screen or through this portal, and I was on solid ground, and I was looking out into the distance, and there were these structures, these buildings. I wouldn't even know if I could say they were buildings, but they were stacked on top of one another, going up as far as my eyes could see. And in fact, it was blurry, which is kind of different than normal, because normally when I astral project, unlike the beyond body, when I astral project, everything looks crystal clear. When I do the beyond body thing, there are times when things are a little fuzzy and I'm not able to focus completely. And I was just looking out into the distance, And I'd noticed, of course, that I wasn't walking with a cane, and I thought, this is amazing. I thought, wow, I'm not using a cane in this place at all. Now, those of you who have watched my series on the hospital and my recovery know that I do walk with a cane, but at this point, in this place, I didn't have to. And that was amazing. But not only that, I have to tell you that it certainly did feel as if I had a body of some sort. And I did feel solid. I didn't feel as if I were a spirit being, strangely enough. And that's why I think we, or my mom and I, call this other form the beyond body, which is very interesting. So I want to share more adventures with you, but I'm going to end this episode here, and we're going to go on to another episode next time. And I want to use this again where I ask you to close your eyes just to try and be in the moment with me and imagine things. And I hope that that is something that you enjoy. Anyway, until our next episode and our next adventure, take care.